Hey everyone, KoBaC here with another pack opening video. We haven't been back on the Mickey playmat in a while, so I thought it might be cool to do that for today. So what ended up happening the other day, one of my local game stores was doing a special where you could buy a booster box of Whispers for $100. So I picked one up. When I came home, my wife was like, oh no, I had just ordered you 24 blisters to do with a video. So what I thought would be cool to do, and actually it was also her suggestion, would be to do a comparison video of a booster box compared to 24 blister packs, because with the booster box, you know you're probably going to get anywhere from 4 to 5 legendaries typically. With the blisters, they're totally random. You have no idea. Some people will tell you that blisters are the way to go, or troves, because those are also random. Others will say, you know, what you should really do is booster boxes, because you've increased your likelihood of really getting down to like 4 or 5 legendaries. Now every now and then you can hit a box that has like 7 or 6 plus a foil legendary or an enchanted. So what we're gonna do a comparison. We're gonna open the booster box first, then we're gonna do the blisters, and we'll kind of just go from there. And I think this is scientifically, if we were being scientific about it, you would want to really test this more, I think, against a case, because in my opinion, a case of boosters, or a case of booster boxes will perform better if what you are after is legendaries, or really more for the enchanted side. If you're looking for the enchanteds, buying a case is better, because yeah, you're going to get 4 booster boxes. Basically, enchanted's math works out 1 into 96 packs. So yeah, we'll just delete it. 1 out of 96 should be an enchanted. Now you can end up being far luckier, but that's what the math works out to. And it's not always the case, or situation when you buy a case will you have that sort of math work out. Sometimes you might even get 2 enchanteds, so then you know that there are other cases out there that don't have any, and that always is very unfortunate. And I hope that is something that Ravensburger will end up addressing at some point. Is more of a consistent sort of I want to open a case and I want to be able to get for sure an enchanted. I think that is totally fair to do. So what we'll do, because this might, I don't want to make this end up being too long of a video, we'll kind of just go really quickly through here for, we got the rares, we'll just put those on a stack, and Hermes. Okay, that's a cool foil to get. I don't want to make you guys sit here forever watching this kind of a video and then ends up taking a really long time or something. Ooh, Cauldronborn. I love this artwork. Obviously the card itself is very vanilla, so maybe we'll just kind of move quickly. So I actually, for the first time the other day at my local shop, a different one, someone pulled a discard card, and I had not yet seen that in person. Ooh, malicious mean scared me. And that was pretty cool. He got that in one of his uncommon spots, and that is super cool to see in person, because I hadn't yet. Out of all the packs I've ever opened, out of all the people I've been around, I think he's the only person that I've actually met that actually pulled one. I've heard of it, I've seen them online. What would be super cool would be to pull one of those enchanted discards, because obviously those are worth big money. All right, Fairy Godmother and Inspector. So how has Whispers been going for you guys so far with your collection? Have you gotten everything that you need to be able to play, or have you still kind of hoping to get lucky in a couple of packs? I so far have done very well with our pack openings in the beginning of the set. We were able to get what I needed to be able to play, and then we had enough extras for like my kids' decks and my wife when she plays them. Demona. Maybe we might get the legendary Demona foil. That would be nice. Although I could use the Hades. But these packs also are opening much easier than when I first got this set. So I don't know if maybe different batches are just opening a little bit easier than others. But yeah, I've done pretty good so far this set. I've been happy with it. I think this has turned out to be a very, very fun set, which is great. Oh, first legendary, Hercules. And a Raja. Right. 1 legendary. What do you guys think is going to be? How's it going to work out with the math? I think this box might end up being average. My friend purchased one of the other boxes, and he said his was not good. So I'm hoping that mine at least gets 5. 5 legendaries would at least make it feel like you at least got a decent go of things. And up. Oh, Blues. Not one of my favorite rares to pull and foil. Still testing it out where I'm using my webcam's microphone instead of the normal mic that I would use, so hoping that it captures some of the crinkliness, because I feel like you need that if you're going to do a pack opening, right? Alright, here we go. Big money. It's got to be it. Something. Ugh, Scar. And Mushu's Racket. Ugh. Well, so far, we're 7 in, 1 legendary. The back half could be better than the front half. It is possible. Could be. It'd be nice to get something of value. I mean, obviously, we get an enchanted. We know that this ends up being a really good box anyway. Alright, here we go. Horned King, Garbo, the Sword of Hercules, the Horned King. The foiling's very nice. It's harder to catch on the... This one actually isn't as shiny as some of the others. Actually, put this down here so that it can be seen. You know what we could do? We could bring these over here. So 1 epic, 1 legendary out of 8-pack. Not a phenomenal start. And even some of the foils have been very meh. Very meh. I feel it. This is the good one. It's the best pack in the whole box. Oh, well, I've already kind of ruined it. I can see it's a common, so I know that it's not a good foil. Oh. Have any of you guys pulled any really cool miscuts? The coolest thing that I got so far were 23 of these puzzle cards. Well, they're not really puzzles right now. They're lore cards that were miscut, really obviously miscut. But that's it. We have not... Actually, Brooklyn is a card that I'm actually testing right now in a deck that I'm going to be doing a discussion on and maybe even a guide. Oh. Come on, we need another legendary. Not in this one. Ooh, 2 epics though. Okay. I think I needed the goofy. I decided I was going to start collecting the epics. With the first set being last set, I kind of just traded away the ones that I didn't really think were playable. This one is one I have in my Amethyst Steel deck right now. Is an epic. But most of the epics, they're not really highly playable, so I kind of just like, whatever, I'll just trade them away. They'll get me other things that I need. And then afterwards, I was with this set, I was like, maybe it's worth collecting them. So are you guys collecting them as well, or are you just things like He Hurled His Thunderbolt, like anything that's really good, like I'll keep those? Is that kind of what you're doing? Alright. I think we're at the halfway point. I'm glad I didn't give myself a paper cut there with a Lorcana card and deposit because I'm bleeding. Hey, He Hurled His Thunderbolt. Alright. Oh, Agony Plains. I think I needed that. I'm not collecting. We're definitely past the halfway mark, and only 1 legendary is not good. It's kind of cheap. Not great. All right, we're gonna change it though right now. No, not with that one. Not with the first one. Not with the second one. Oh my goodness. So what I have found so far in my pack openings is that if you purchase a case, in the boxes from that case, you will have one. This seems to be a pattern. One box will be absolute fire. It'll be like 7 or maybe even 8 legendaries. It might have an enchanted also in it, and then you'll end up with another box that is just second legendary. Shere Khan, not the most wonderful one ever. But you'll end up with a box that's just garbage, like 3 legendaries, and you're just like, this one's sucked. And then you'll end up with two that are kind of mid. That might be 5 or 6. Across a case, you'll end up being generally happy, especially if you can get the enchanted. If you don't get the enchanted, then it does kind of feel like the case wasn't as good. But it's just with the way that the boxes seem to fall that you'll just end up with like the really Horned King. There's always that one box that's just not good, and you always hope that it's not the box that the one that you're currently opening. And I'm getting a little nervous that we are opening the garbage box that's in the case. Now, I can't say that all cases are like that, but it does seem to be that when we have opened cases that it kind of comes down to feeling a bit like that we ending up with one that's really garbo. Alright. Come on. Where are the legendaries? Mushu. We've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 left. 8 left. To try to give us a nice, or at least a decent sample for a box compared to blisters. Which I guess if we're going to be opening blisters anyway, then like there ends up still being some good stuff anyway out of the blisters. So it might end up paying off in terms of this purchase overall, but I want to be able to give like a decent comparison for video. Nope. Nope. Another foil Raja. For any of you that are out there, Ruby players, or any of you currently playing Hercules, I've been working on a Ruby Amethyst deck and been playing that the last couple of days and been really enjoying it, but I am not running Hercules. I personally feel that he's a bit of a trap. Come on. Another epic. 2 of the same one? I don't know if I've done that yet. 3 epics, but the epics are just a downside because the epics are not always as valuable even as the legendaries. Legendaries, I think, are just still better to have. Now, like, if you pull He Hurled His Thunderbolt, that is the best epic in this set, hands down. Currently, as of this recording, like a $15 card, which is pretty solid. All right, another legendary. Ooh, Goliath. Can't hate on that. That's nice to have. All right, we got 5 packs left. We could still break average, which is like 4 legendaries. 4 doesn't make you feel good. 4 is just like, that's okay. You want to really, come on now, focus, camera. Focus. There you go. There you go, find the card. Need to get a better camera setup. Here we go. Oh, I did need that one though. Of all the cards for me to get excited about, it's a foil Nana. She's not even good. She's not even good. That's not the point though. The point is that I needed her for the collection, right? Alright. Hookhand, Zeus, Robin Hood, Ew. Wait. Oh, that's damaged? Oh, no! Oh, that sucks. It's a foil legendary, but it is dinged up. Well, that sucks. Oh. That is so bad. That is so bad. It was upside down. It is super dented. It is like a 3 or 4 millimeter dent. Oh, man. That blows. That's so bad. That's so bad. Hey, Cauldronborn again. This should be a playmat. That would be a sick playmat. But that stinks so much, and there's nothing you can do. It's just one of those that if you reach out to Ravensburger, they're like, yeah, sucks to suck, right? I guess it does. I guess it does. Foil Sebastian. 2 packs left. Man. Oh. The thing is, I know it would be so bad if it was like a foil Hades or like a foil Cinderella or something, but at least those would be. I don't even know if it would feel better. I'm trying to say like, well, maybe it would still feel fine because you could still play it if you do foils. Like I try to foil out. I try to trade and stuff. I don't go like nuts. Foil out like whatever my main deck is, but it would not feel good to have like one of my Hades or something being all busted up. All right, last pack. Last pack. Okay. Be gone. I love the idea of that card. If it was a song, I would definitely be playing that. It's too expensive for not being a song, being able to like cheat it out a little bit easier. Here we go. Horn King, last pack, legendary. No, Fairy Godmother. Into it, putting it all together. That's not great. What we'll do, we'll move these over. Take the foils, move these over as well. So in total, we ended up with 3 epics, 2 being duplicates, 4 legendaries, 2 being duplicate, but then this one being the foil that is all just jacked up. I'm gonna sleeve this Goliath because that's nice to have. The others are gonna unfortunately be tradable because I got those and I'm not gonna lose my mind over more Shere Khans of all things. Set these up here. So far that ended up being right basically where we would expect it to be. That was an average booster box, 4 legendaries, and then a couple of epics. I think the math ends up working out to like 2 per box. So we'll see how these do. So last time I did blisters, oh man, I don't remember how many legendaries I had, but I was when I pulled the Enchanted Bell, which I do still have. I actually play with that card. Come on, focus. 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 Enhance. So first pack of the 24 blisters. I'm rooting for the blisters being a little bit better. And it could be because the last one wasn't that great. Foil Spooky Sight. Hot dog. I just traded for that the other day because I didn't have one yet, but having a second one is cool. Are any of you out there playing Spooky Sight? Now see, these ones are opening stiffer. They're like how Whispers had been for me for most of the set so far. But are any of you playing Spooky Sight? I've toyed with it somewhat. I actually played a Infinity event the other day. It was like a week ago. And I played Ruby Sapphire. And I did include 1 Spooky Sight. And it was quite helpful against the Amber Steel. I ended up losing the event overall. I made top 4. And the event was for a first chapter booster box. And I was anticipating there to be more blue steel in the room. There ended up only being like 1 blue steel, and I was the only ruby sav. And yeah, so at the top, it ended up being myself and 3 amber steel aggros. One of them being that I had beaten earlier in the day, but he's a very good player. And I was like, you know, I kind of realized, because I went there with the intent of, I want to win this booster box. I don't want to split it, right? I want the whole thing to myself. And then I was sitting there as they were waiting for the last match to finish, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be me and 3 amber steel aggros. I think we should split the box. And I tried to split it, but there wasn't enough people that wanted to split. So, yeah, I lost the next round to the person I had beaten previously. He ended up taking the whole day. But this is like, oh, this stinks. And I had gotten pretty close, but it's just, oh, Spooky Sight. It's a tough matchup for Foil Cindy. All right, Blisters already win right there. Oh, that's sweet. Nice. Very nice. And that's only, what, 4 packs in? It already just outpaced the entire other booster box all by itself. I know she's not going for quite as much as what she was at the beginning of the season, which doesn't shock me. But I will say, I think Cindy is going to be one of those cards. And if you got them now and you want to flip them when you think she's at a high point, I totally get that. I think that she is going to end up being an important card in post-second rotation, if they do rotation the same ways what they did last time, which right now we don't have any reason to think otherwise. This is also a very good card. Very good card. Ruby, Amethyst, and Amethyst Steel. But I think Cindy is going to be something that is worth hanging on to, because if you're a Sapphire player, because later on, we may not have as much good ramp, because if they don't reprint Tipo, they don't reprint Sail the Azurite Sea, I think that leaves us with what? It leaves us with Cindy, which is a good double ramp. It leaves us with the Mickey Mouse Detective, and then one jump ahead. So I could see a world where they reprint maybe something like Tipo, because Tipo doesn't replace itself the same way that Sail does. It feels a little bit more of like a utility card than Sail, where Sail just feels like it's all positive for the player that's using it. It's just all good. So I think I could see them saying, you know what, we'll let Tipo still be around, but we'll cut Sail. And then Cindy will just increase in value, because now, you know, if I need that ramp on 2, but yeah, I also need to be able to have more ramp later. So I could see a world where that definitely works in the same thing. It's your boy Raksha! Booshu! So having foils on hand of Cindy is just crazy. I had to trade for one because I had not yet pulled one. I don't regret trading for it by any stretch, but Basil. You know a deck that totally snuck up on me this set that I didn't respect at all until someone played it, and then I'm like, oh wow, this actually could be a problem if it got ironed out the rest of the way. Was Sapphire Steel Detectives. I did not give that any sort of respect. I thought it was just gimmicky, or really, it's more of typically, when Ravensburger creates a new deck type, a new, you know, sort of like subclass kind of thing, they'll, well, there's the reveal. It isn't very good, in my opinion, and this is one of the cards that makes it good. But I was playing Amethyst Steel. I did whatever I was doing in the turn, and I'm like, okay, I'm totally fine. I'm totally safe, right? He has nothing that's evasive. What does he have? He's Sapphire Steel. What could he possibly have that's evasive? And I quested with Dumbo. I didn't even generate a card with him because I didn't have any ink. I just quested with him. And everything in me was saying, don't do that yet. You don't know enough about this deck. So what does he do? He had Nick Wild on the table, the big one where if a detective banishes a character in a challenge, they draw a card. He top decks Ink Runner. Plays Ink Runner, draws a second Nick Wild. Plays the second Nick Wild. He still had one ink left. He exerts that to give the first Nick alert from the Ink Runner. He then flies up to my Dumbo, banishes him right away, and draws 2 cards off of it. And I'm just, the moment it started, I was like, oh, I messed up. I know I messed up, and I'm about to pay for that. I managed to still win in the end, but it 110% left me with okay, you have to respect it. These cards that just randomly give this deck alert, give it the ways to legendary Goliath, second Goliath for the day, but from Blisters. And it made me immediately like, okay, I thought this was a cheap gimmicky deck, and it may not end up being meta, but it's something that you need to be aware of, because if you're playing, you know, in your set champs and stuff, somebody might bring that because they might be like, look, I want a budget deck, or I just want something that's really off meta to try to surprise people. And wait, what? We have 2 Amethyst cards in this pack? That doesn't happen. I'm going to set this aside. Whenever you do the commons, you're only supposed to get 1 of every color. I've never seen 2. Okay. Yeah, that's 3 of the colors. Green. Are we not going to get a red? We didn't get a ruby card. We got 2 amethyst instead. Okay, Lexington. Ink Runner, that was one I was just talking about. Sebastian, Magica, and Detective's Badge. Ended up being completely subpar, but it was technically a quality control issue, but nothing ended up happening. I was hoping there was going to be a discard or something in there. Be like, yeah, it's got all messed up, and here's this $50 discard card in here. That would have been neat. Alright. You know what I'm thinking? I'm betting that because I have this running through a different setting on my computer, you're probably not hearing the pack opening, which makes me sad because that's why I did this, and then I'm realizing now I probably hooked it up wrong. Sad face. Sword of Hercules. Alright, this is the halfway mark right here for the blisters. Only 2 legendaries so far, which I think when we got to the halfway before, right, we were sitting on 2 as well, so... Come on, there we go. Rama. Hey, there's our fragile as a flower again. Getting a lot of that from this. From these blisters. Coming up on the rare, Sword of Hercules again. Simba and Brooklyn. Oh, foil Brooklyn, okay. What do you guys think of the gargoyles? Have you enjoyed them? Have you been playing them? I thought that their ability was going to be a lot worse for them, more detrimental than it actually has been. I guess because in my, I don't know, just being, you've never had a mechanic like Stone by Day, so I kind of just assumed that I wasn't even thinking about it. I'm just thinking I'm going to ready my characters, draw a card. I'm just going to draw the card, and I'm going to have 3. So when am I ever going to get to use these guys? When am I ever going to be down to 2 cards? And then after playing in this meta, you realize, oh, there's a lot of times where you're going to be down to 2. So you can actually totally viably play the gargoyles. Mowgli. That's the first Mowgli I think we've gotten today. And it's ended up working out fine. I've been able to play them without issue. I've played a lot of Lexington. I played a lot of Goliath at the beginning of the set because I was really trying to get Sapphire's Steel to work. I've kind of abandoned that. I thought Demona was going to be a lot worse of a card than what she was. She ended up being very, very useful, especially for my Amethyst Steel deck. I thought maybe by me giving my opponent 3 cards that I was really, really going to hate doing that a lot more than what I've... Oh, another legendary. Shere Khan. But it ended up being fine. Playing Demona has been fine. I'm starting to experiment now with Brooklyn. I haven't really used any of the others. They just don't really feel that they work. I don't really like the Grimorum book for Demona. I just don't like her. I don't use the 4-drop Demona either. I just personally feel that she kind of is... I don't know what the... It's just... When I put her out in Amethyst Steel, I want something, or should I say, I want something in the 4-drop spot that's going to do something on play, or like in the case of Dumbo, it's setting up for like this super card draw engine. And the Demona, while she's a 4/6 with Challenger 2, I just don't really see her really paying off. And I know that you could set up the Grimorum and stuff, but if you're doing like Purple Steel, you're trying to do what? You're trying to set up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're hoping to strength. That's just every opening of every time you play that deck, you're really hoping that you have that curve. And if you don't, you can survive and you can still win, but that is like the optimum curve, right? And the Demona just doesn't fit in there, and the Grimorum just doesn't help either. I know some people have been trying to do the Grimorum in Legendary. What is it? Shere Khan, what the heck? We pulled 4 of these today. Ugh. I know it sounds like you're like, why? How could you complain when you're opening all these packs? The Shere Khan. There's only so much value in the Shere Khan. He's not worth that great, so he doesn't really recoup your cost the same. Higgins. Scrooge. And the Sultan. Another legendary. Ooh, Daisy. Haven't pulled that today. So we're at 5 legendaries, with 1 being foil. Not a damage foil either, that I noticed. So far the blisters have played out as being a better trade-off. And what we could do, if people like this kind of video idea, I could do this, I could try to set this up every set. And then that way we can continue to test and kind of check this out. I know there's always going to be people that are going to, like, well, I went and bought 1 blister and I pulled an iconic. you know, and you're going to hear about those stories, but we're trying to look for the average sort of scenario, not so much the exception to the rule. Scrooge. A lot of people starting to play that, and I know that Scrooge is going to be the next promo card in their Elsa Lilo boxes. That'll be a little interesting to see how that plays out, just because I'm not as big of a fan of that card. I know there are some burn decks right now that are really making use of him, and I can see why they are, but I think most other decks are just not going to get that value out of that Scrooge. He's just not. He's answerable, and it's just not fast enough for most of us. Next stop, Olympus. Yeah, so this is one of those, when you play this character, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. So he's a good filter, but if you're playing Steel, is it not better to run Mulan, right? Because with Hudson here, he still has the Stone by Day, which, you know, so if when you play him on turn 2, then maybe you quest or you challenge on turn 3, he's going to be locked down. Like, you're going to have more than 3 cards at that point. So it's nice to have the filter. Like, I like filter cards for sure, but oh wait, what am I doing? Those aren't over there. Why is the foil there? I'm all sorts of messed up. I like the filtering and everything, but I don't know. It's just not. It's not the greatest if he can't. Oh, look, there he is again. If he can't do things afterwards, because my opponent knows, well, if he does anything, he's going to be stuck sideways. Black Heron foil. That's a cool one to get as a foil. Amethyst Steel players. 4 packs left. 5 legendaries. No epics. Not one epic yet. Let's see if we can get the getting enchanted here at the last second. Dragonfire is a fun card. That'll be a cool playmat for people for the next set. Ink Runner. Blessed Bagpipes. Zootopia. There, he got Mother's Wand, and then there. That's 3. Swooping Strike is a card that I'm so tempted to try to make work, but I feel like the best deck that is for going up against is Emerald, when they have a small Prince Philip on the table. Alright, let's see. There's a lot of boost cards in this. Sword of Hercules. Into Daisy, into Genie. 2 left, 6 legendaries now. So this one is definitely pulled far ahead of the booster box itself. A little more to go. Mickey into Dragonfire. Look at all those reprints with new art. Higgins, Chomp. Webby's Diary, Guthaint, Robot Queen into the White Agony Plains, another legendary Goliath. Now it's on fire. 7 legendaries. Last pack. Does it have the Enchanted to just close out the video? It'd be super cool. Alright, Li Shang, Brooklyn. Swooping Strike, Inspector, Tezuka. Focus, camera, focus. Webby, David Xanatos, Chef Louis. All right. Grimoire. Hey, we were talking about that, but I don't want to see it. Oh, last thing. Is it Epic Mini? Well, we did get an Epic then. So in total, in case you fast forwarded to the end, we got the Blisters ended up with 7 legendaries, which is interesting because there was a lot of duplicate legendaries. Cindy here is foil with the Epic, and then for the booster box itself, we ended up with 4 legendaries, again duplicates for some reason, and then duplicate epics on top of it. That's weird. So if we were to go off of, obviously in this case, 24 blisters versus 24 packs, the booster box was not nearly as good as the blisters. The blisters pulled way ahead. So the difference being in this scenario, you can typically get some sort of deal or discount on a booster box versus blisters are typically going to be like that solid $5.99 for a long time until it's an older set, and then sometimes Best Buy will have deals or something, but you can't always count on that, and then it's really hard to find 24 of them at the same time. So if you wanted to try to wait until you could get a booster box worth. So in this case, the test so far, the win goes to the blisters. So thank you guys very much for watching, commenting, subscribing, being part of the community. I'll talk to you guys in the next video, and I look forward to hearing what you guys think, and we should continue this series going forward. All right, see ya.